You sit down. Everything is ready. The work is in front of you. You pick up the pen. You're about to start. And within 30 seconds, something else shows up. You push it away. You refocus. And then another one shows up. From a different direction. The email you haven't sent. The thing you said you'd do last week. The message that's been sitting unread. They don't care that you're trying to work. They just keep showing up. Mid-sentence. Mid-meeting. Mid-rest. They follow you everywhere. You've been told it's a focus problem. A discipline problem. An attention span problem. None of those. There is a specific mechanism. And it has a name. Think of your brain as a browser. Every unfinished task is a tab you didn't close. And tabs you didn't close are still running in the background. Still consuming memory, whether you're looking at them or not. This is the Zeigarnik Effect. And once you understand how it works, you can choose what to do with it. Close the tabs, or use them. Those are the only two options, and most people don't know they have either. Before the science, let's do something slightly uncomfortable. A quick audit. Work, projects you haven't finished, tasks you started and paused, emails that need a real response, not just a read, relationships, conversations that ended without resolution, people you've been meaning to reach out to, things you said that you wish you hadn't, decisions, things you said I'll decide later about, major choices you've been avoiding, minor ones you somehow can't commit to, creative projects, the book, the business, the thing you want to build that keeps getting postponed while life happens around it, health and well-being, the new routine you wanted to start, the doctor's appointment you've been delaying, the habit you promised yourself you'd build. Look at your notepad. Look at the desk. It's crowded, isn't it? Each of these is an open loop. An open loop is any commitment you made to yourself or others that is not fully completed, closed, or stored in a trusted system. Your brain doesn't have a low priority setting for these. To your subconscious, a promise to buy milk carries the same urgency as a quarterly report. They all occupy the same active workspace. They all pull on the same limited resource, your attention. This is the cost of every unfinished thing in your life. It's not just that they aren't done, it's that they are actively draining you right now. By the time you sit down to do deep work, half of your cognitive capacity is already gone, spent on keeping these loops alive. You try to read, you try to rest, you try to spend time with family, but the loops are whispering. They whisper because your brain is trying to protect you from forgetting. It's a survival mechanism that has run amok in the modern world. So let's go back to 1927. To a crowded café in Vienna, where a young psychologist noticed something that changed how we understand memory. Bluma Zeigarnik was sitting in a busy Vienna restaurant. She noticed the waiters. A waiter could remember a complex order for a table of 12 people. Every detail, every custom request, perfectly. They didn't write anything down. They held it all in their minds. But the moment the bill was paid and the transaction was complete, the waiter had no memory of what the table had ordered. It was completely erased. Zeigarnik was fascinated. Why did the memory vanish the instant the task was finished? She went back to her lab. She designed an experiment with over 100 participants. She gave them various tasks, solving puzzles, manual crafts, math problems. But for half of the tasks, she interrupted them. She stopped them midway and wouldn't let them finish. Later, she asked them to recall what tasks they had worked on. The results were striking. Participants remembered the unfinished tasks 90% better than the completed ones. This became known as the Zeigarnik Effect. Your brain remembers incomplete tasks far better than complete ones. Why? Because the brain sets a keep alive flag on any unfinished task. An unfinished task is kept active in your working memory. It is stored in the brain's equivalent of RAM. This working memory is extremely limited. It can only hold about 4 chunks of information at a time. When you have 4 or fewer open loops, your brain handles them. You feel in control. But when you have 20, 30, or 47 open loops, your working memory is completely choked. There is no RAM left for the task in front of you. You feel a constant, low-grade anxiety, a feeling that you are forgetting something important. This cognitive load drains your energy, even when you aren't actively working. Your brain is constantly scanning, trying to keep those unfinished tasks from slipping away. The only way to release the working memory is to convince the brain that the task is safely handled. Let's fast forward to modern research. Dr. Sophie Leroy, a business professor, wanted to know what happens when we switch tasks. She studied attention residue. When you switch from task A to task B, part of your attention remains stuck on task A. Your brain doesn't make a clean break. You are physically working on task B, but cognitively, you're still processing task A. This is why, after a chaotic meeting, you can't focus on your deep work. The meeting is still running in your head. Your brain is still trying to resolve the open loops from the discussion. Every time you check email just for a second, you open 10 new loops. You read a problem, decide to deal with it later, and switch back. But now, you have 10 new tabs running in the background. Your focus is shattered. And this doesn't just happen at work. It follows you into your weekend. You are trying to rest, but the brain keeps whispering about the work you didn't finish on Friday. Because to the brain, the weekend is just a giant pause button on active loops. As the saying goes, you weren't actually resting, you were just managing loops. This is why Monday morning feels so heavy. You didn't start with a clean slate. You started the week with 20 open loops already running. You were half depleted before you even opened your laptop. Your willpower is lower. Your decision-making is slower. You are suffering from ego depletion before the first meeting. The 3 mechanisms we've explored in this series are now working against you. A drop in dopamine makes you seek distraction. Distraction opens new loops. New loops drain your willpower. It's a self-reinforcing cycle of depletion. But it doesn't have to be this way. The Zeigarnik Effect is a double-edged sword. It drains you when it runs out of control. But you can also harness it to drive your focus. Because the same force that makes you think about unfinished work can be used to pull you back into your work. If you open a loop intentionally, your brain will crave its completion. It will give you a natural, biological push to finish. This is the completion bias, the psychological urge to cross the finish line once you get close. So the goal is not to have 0 loops. The goal is to design them, to become a loop architect. To become a loop architect, we must understand the 3 patterns of open loops that run our lives. First, the emotional loop. This is the unresolved conversation or conflict. When an interaction ends without closure, your brain replays it. It tries to write a different ending. You think of what you should have said. You think of what they meant. The brain keeps the loop open because it wants safety. Closure in relationships isn't about the other person. It's about your brain accepting that the conversation is over. Second, the productivity pull. The tasks you actually want to finish. This is the positive side of Zeigarnik, a project that is active and exciting. If you start a task, just the first 5 minutes, the Zeigarnik Effect takes over. It pulls you back. The hardest part is starting. Once started, the loop wants to close. Third, the decision loop. The choices you are avoiding. Every undecided choice is a massive tab running in the background. Deciding to decide later doesn't save energy. It actually consumes more, because the loop stays open. Making a decision, even an imperfect one, closes the loop and frees the RAM. Even great creators use this. Ernest Hemingway had a famous rule for writing. He would always stop writing when he knew what was going to happen next. He never emptied the well. By stopping mid-sentence, he left a deliberate open loop. When he sat down the next day, the brain was eager to close it. He never had writer's block, because the Zeigarnik Effect pulled him right back in. But what about the loops we can't finish right now? This is where the Masicampo breakthrough comes in. Researchers Masicampo and Baumeister found that you don't actually have to finish a task to close the loop. You just need a concrete, trusted plan for when and how you will finish it. The brain accepts the plan as a temporary closure, releasing the working memory. This gives us the foundation for loop architecture. For simple, scientifically backed methods to manage your mental tabs. For methods to clear your RAM and focus on what matters. Method 1. The daily brain dump. Every morning or evening, write down every single open loop in your mind. Get them out of your head and onto paper. Don't organize them yet, just capture them. Once they are written down, the brain stops trying to hold them. The keep alive flags are lowered. Method 2. The completion ritual. At the end of the workday, do a formal shutdown. Check your tasks, write down your plan for tomorrow, and physically close your laptop. Tell yourself, the workday is done. This ritual signals your brain that it is safe to close the work tabs. You can actually rest. Method 3. The parking note. When you have to interrupt a task midway, before you walk away, write down exactly where you left off and what the very next step is. This acts as a bookmark. It prevents attention residue and makes returning to the task frictionless. Method 4. Deliberate incompletion. Use it to build momentum. Stop working when you are in the flow and know exactly what comes next. Leave a small, exciting loop open. The next day, you won't waste time wondering where to start. Your brain's urge to close the loop will drive you forward. By using these 4 methods, you transition from a victim of open loops to an architect of focus. Your working memory is clear. Your RAM is fully available for the present moment. We have now completed the Brain Mechanism Trilogy. Day 1, Day 3, and Day 8. You now understand dopamine prediction error, ego depletion, and the Zeigarnik Effect. You are not lazy, you are not weak, you are not broken. You are simply operating a complex biological machine. In our next video, Day 10, we will take these 3 mechanisms and use them as the foundation for a constructive system, identity-based habit formation. But for today, your task is simple. Look at your tabs. Write them down. Make a plan. Close the tabs that are draining you. Close the tabs. Clear your mind. We'll see you